Welcome to the Sacred Legacy podcast. I'm Anthony Ritchie.
And I'm Kate Brown. And here we are elevating stories of God's hand in ordinary lives.
That's right. Kind of have a special episode today, don't we, sis?
Yeah, I'm really excited about our conversation. We're going to be interviewing a friend of the pod. Um, and we've been looking forward to this all week and getting our questions together. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Um, Before we get to that, there's just a couple of housekeeping items that we need to put out there. We are planning on our season finale episode soon. And we would love if we could have some submissions from people about their pet or wisdom of nature stories. And those can be sent to sacredlegacypod@gmail.com.
very good. Um,
Also, right, if you also have a biblical superlative submission, send those to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was having a little trouble with my microphone there. So,
We we've been having
Oof.
technical difficulties, but we're powering through.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
All right. Well, I wanted to just go real quick as a little bit of a background for who our guest is going to be today. Somebody, his family and our families have been really connected over, I don't know, probably over 4 decades now, maybe
Yeah,
longer than that. We'll have to
longer
ask.
because I'm 40.
Yeah.
So
Um, so really a good connection with the families and a lot of really fond memories growing up. This family ran the local newspaper in our hometown, and just a lot of fond memories of some of the things that went on in the town. And we'll get into that some more, but I just really want to thank him for taking some time with us. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our audience to probably somebody most of you that listen already know, Mr. Andy Taylor.
hi,
Andy,
Andy.
How are you?
welcome.
Welcome to the show. We're glad to have
Well,
you.
it made me feel so old when you went through that. Like, we go.
Well,
It-
I mean, it goes back to our parents, obviously.
Yes.
well,
So,
Yeah.
let me take it a step further beyond that. I was born in the town that we're talking about, and your grandmother signed my birth certificate
oh,
because
yes,
she was the city clerk in
that
those
is
days.
correct.
And the
Yes.
city hospital was owned by the city. So the city clerk
Mm,
had to therefore sign on the birth certificate.
That's
So
awesome.
your grandma put her ink on my nine and
She
a half
signed
pound body.
she signed mine too. Um,
Oh,
I
did
don't
she
remember.
really?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's great.
Yep,
I didn't
which
know that.
that's, pretty neat. I'm glad you said that. I had almost forgotten about that. Well, Andy, you and your family, we've always really thought a lot of you.
Thank
Your
you.
dad, Rudy, and your mom, Kathy.
Mhm.
And I just wanna tell you, I know that you know this already. Your family has really been a blessing to us, paying tribute to stories about aunts and uncles and cousins,
Yes.
but especially, there was a time when, dad was away from the family. He was working out of town, commuting back and forth, and so he was only home on the weekends, and there was one
Mm.
Sunday that I was at the city park, and dad was teaching me how to block and run pass
Yes.
routes and all that, and apparently your dad, was driving by, and he must have stopped and rolled down the window, and he wrote a story in the paper about what was going on and kinda detailing a practice at the park with dad on a weekend, and then he was driving back to Kansas City the next day, and I
That's
was never
amazing.
able to find that article, but, just really a
That's
thoughtful
kind of
man, your dad.
that's the approach that my family has taken for so many years. But yeah, that sounds something like Rudy would do.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Just driving past Wark Park and seeing Bill Ritchie out there, the
Yeah,
sun on the basketball courts. Um, that's
yeah,
kind of what those things capture our eye.
they
Yeah.
do.
And it's not like you drive by any park. You see that at any park. You see people out playing basketball or tennis or whatever, pickleball.
Hmm.
But it's amazing, and you see a father and son out there doing it. And in a
Yeah,
small town, it just kind of makes you step back and think that's pretty cool. So
it is
yeah,
very
Hmm.
I could see him riding that.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you also wrote, a really nice tribute to our mom, Melody,
Yes. Mm.
uh, that article is actually on Kate's refrigerator.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I look at you, Kate, and you are the absolute striking resemblance of your mother, which is a good thing because
Sweet.
she had that. And I remember writing that tribute and writing, and that she had that radiant smile that just
Yes.
lit up a room, and yours is identical to it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I remember you had a cousin, I think her name's Molly, who has the
Yeah,
same smile. And I remember telling
Mhm.
her that one day. So
Yeah.
she does.
that legacy is genetically ingrained in the family. That's a good thing, and that's a
Well,
beautiful smile, and your mother was just a fantastic woman, so
Yes, thank
yeah,
you. Appreciate
thank
that.
you. You know, your dad also, we were talking before this about how many relatives we have in the area,
Right.
and
a lot, folks.
uh so my wife is also from that area, and we had to, make sure that everything was on the up and up from there. But your dad's, he's very supportive of Jackie, my wife. He's always commenting on stuff that she's doing with her horses, and I just think it's neat that
Yes,
all these people that, you know, we we didn't know each other really well, but we knew
right.
each other. I
Yeah,
mean,
right, and
we went to church
we went
forever together.
we went to the same church, which is that's
Mhm.
how our commonality of our circles
Mhm.
overlapped, but in
Mhm.
a small town where we grew up of less than 2,000, we may have been in different circles then, but they all those circles overlap eventually, some way,
Absolutely.
For sure.
some capacity.
Yeah.
And I always go back to that value of overlapping circles when I go to that town and I do stories and I think, okay, I've got no connection to or care about club wrestling. And I
Mhm.
walk in that room and take a picture, and there's like 15 cousins of mine in there. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
and cousins of yours too.
Yes.
And like, okay, this is how it all works. We all overlap, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, it makes it a it's fun. It's fun.
It is. But as we've started this endeavor, Kate and I, Andy, you were one of many people that reached out to me, but the feedback that I got from you, I want to tell you, and I think I did tell you this, but it was really helpful to me. It was really encouraging because
Thank you.
you're a journalist. I think you're a very talented writer. You're a fantastic storyteller, and that's what we're wanting to do here is to
Yeah.
share those stories. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. You sent me examples of your favorite parable. Um, you talked about teaching Sunday school kids, gross Bible stories to try to keep their attention.
Yes, that podcast you had about the I forget what you called it, the strange awards that you give out with
Yeah.
different and it reminded me of a junior high Sunday school class that I taught, which I'll never do again.
Yeah,
That's brave of you to do junior high Sunday school.
That's just I became a sinner after that one, the worse. I just was so I finally boiled it down, said, "Okay, kids, give me one Sunday. We'll call it gross and unusual stories of the
hmm
Bible." And I had to go find some strange stories to
yeah,
entertain them for 45 minutes. So, yeah,
Yeah, that will work. Yeah, for junior high
yep.
kids.
absolutely.
That's hilarious.
But I think you also said a couple things. I won't tell everything, but you're talking about the importance of balance in your life, and
Mhm,
we know about a lot of the things going on in the world, and like, we've talked a lot about not wanting to be ignorant of that. But you said a couple things that I thought were really, really insightful. And you said you want to live fully, but you want to live simply. And you talked about simplicity a lot in that message.
mhm,
And you said the way that you do it is through old fashioned living,
absolutely,
volunteering, civic clubs, knowing your neighbor, telling stories
absolutely.
about your
Mhm.
neighbor,
Yeah,
church projects, teaching kids.
absolutely.
And you said it brings clarity and a zest for living. And I think I could never have said it better.
Mhm.
So, the way Rudy and Kathy Taylor, my parents, approach their business and approach the raising of their kids and grandkids and how they live their lives is found on a plaque that I think my mom bought at Hobby Lobby, and it's in their office, and it just says simplicity.
Mhm.
But it didn't say live, laugh, love. Okay.
I did not. It just says
Sorry. I like
simplicity.
simplicity way better.
I do
Simplicity's
too.
good. Yeah.
And that word, and they stuck it up there, and they kind of forgot about it. But I look at it, and think, well, that's a that very simple word, and it says a lot.
It
And
does.
I've just kind of because our world is chaotic and tumultuous, and the world's tools, such as the internet and social media, drive people to be more contentious
Yeah.
and I'll say to be ignorant of others. Going to a simple life is a pretty good thing.
Mhm.
It clears your mind, it declutters your life. If you
Mhm.
want to get hot and bothered and get high blood pressure every 6 hours about something that's happening in the world, you can do that.
Mhm.
And there's plenty of things to get mad about, but it just doesn't do you any good.
No.
Um, I was explaining to Caitlin and Anthony before this that I'm a big fan of The Chosen. I watched the episodes many times, and Dallas Jenkins did a
Mhm.
great job
Mhm.
on presenting Jesus in kind of a new modern light, but still
Mhm.
telling the story pretty much down pretty accurately. And what I found is the times of Jesus in Palestine, Israel, Judea
Mhm.
were no different then than they are
Mhm.
now. Now, no different than they are then. A oppressive government.
Mhm.
There was racism. There was homelessness.
Mhm.
There was
Mhm.
power struggles. There were tax revolts going on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There was revolution in the air, and everybody in the Jewish faith thought that this Jesus guy was going to change everything and upset the Roman army and
Mhm.
kick them all out, and
Mhm.
that would be it, and get rid of the brown people or the purple people or whatever it was that was bothering them.
Mhm.
And Jesus is like, nah, I'm not worried about those Roman soldiers'
Mhm.
knives and chariots. I'm worried about the Roman soldiers' hearts. I'm
Yep.
worried
Mhm.
about your heart. Then
Mhm.
Mhm.
that can change people. I would rather change people than I would rather change it than change a government because an
Yeah.
Mhm.
institution can only go so far with people.
Right.
And
Correct.
that's I kind of live that lifestyle now.
Yep.
And it's taken me a
Yep.
lot of years to figure that out. But in about the past 15 years, I'll tell you, I'll get to that later, why it did. Um, I've just chosen to kind of take a deep breath every six
Mhm.
hours, find the
Yep.
things that are 10 feet in front of my nose that need
Mhm.
fixed.
Mhm.
And that's the things that are around me and the people who are around me. And if I
Yep.
can go help with a here in Independence, Kansas, where I live, we have some great churches that do weekly meal. Well, actually, every night there's a community meal, Monday through Thursday. In the church I
Mhm.
Yeah.
attend, we do it every 6 weeks. So I help
Mhm.
serve food with about five others, and that brings me great pleasure. That brings me
Mhm.
Sure.
blessings. Helping with the blood drive, I just
Mhm.
help register people when they come in.
Mhm.
I don't take the blood. I'm not a medical person. It brings joy to me.
Mhm.
I've taken over an organization here in town that raises money to buy school supplies for kids that cannot afford them, which there are a lot.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they have to have those supplies when they walk in that door
Yeah.
on
Yep.
the first day, or else they're sunk.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I do. Though that's 10 feet in front of my nose, and that's what brings
Mhm.
me joy. That's a simple life. It's a busy life. I'm
Mhm.
my wife and I have only one child, and that's mostly because I'm always gone.
Yeah.
um, eh, but
Well, what you're saying is exactly what
yeah,
we've I guess realized as we've gotten older too is the world is a really big place, and
it is.
when our attention is outside of our daily life, it's it's not helping those around us. And so
Exactly.
I think we got to start small and work from there. But we don't want to lose sight of our next door neighbor when we're worried about something halfway across the globe.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
My
It's
mother
not gonna
uh,
work.
my mother
Mhm.
has a very good saying, "The world has never been paradise," meaning we never can find perfection. We think we can never
Right.
correct it to perfection. It was meant to be a miserable place. It was designed that way, and we have to just adjust and adapt to it and live our lives accordingly so that when we are dead and gone, we get a reward for that. And
Yep.
that's the whole premise. And fortunately, you two and your sister Teresa and myself and my brother and sister were raised in a godly houses
Mhm.
where God was first. Um, we sat down and had dinner at the dinner table, which is almost a thing that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We prayed for our meals. We went to church. We did all the things that were necessary to keep God first.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that's I'm pretty blessed to think about that. Those
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
their parents, my parents, the parents that I know of my parents' age that when I was a youth kid 30 years
Uh-huh.
ago in church, and those families that did the
We
same
didn't know
thing.
how good we had it, did we? I mean, we
That's for
did,
sure.
but I think it's not that we were unappreciative, but I think as I've gotten older, I'm just like, how unique was that upbringing? Like
Absolutely.
it
Mhm.
was just all I knew. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, wow.
And I kind of thought maybe back then I was nerdy. I was different because my parents we went to church all the time and did all the church things. And I didn't stay at home with my friends, but I relish those times thinking about youth group and the things we
Yeah.
did and the connections that I made that I still talk to youth group friends of mine, even in
Mhm.
our
Yeah.
middle ages now and grandparent ages.
Yeah.
It's good.
So
Yeah,
before
it's pretty
we
special.
get started on an interview, Caitlin always wants to do some sort of strange icebreaker. I think she sent it to you beforehand.
I
Yeah, I
did.
didn't
Uh,
quite understand it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
okay. Sorry. We have to have some levity here. And I was testing these out on my family last night and we were having a good time with them. So we're all gonna answer them. We're gonna change it up a little bit. Um, so this is our unhinged icebreaker segment. So would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Whoever wants
I'll
to go first.
I'll go first. I
One
would
horse-sized duck
Mhm.
or 100 duck-sized horses.
Yes.
this one's easy for me. 100 duck-sized horses. Have you seen the
Oh,
anatomy of a horse?
yes.
I
Like,
figured you'd have an opinion because you have horses.
yes, we we call them suicide mammals around our house, but
You
like
get
so
spooked easily.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
I think I could just fight them off, just kick them.
Just one
Anyway,
of them.
I would fight the
100 of them.
100
Okay,
of them.
what about you, Andy?
I probably would agree with that. I never had a question like that, but,
I agree, just because I think it would be funny to see 100 duck-sized horses. All right. All right, next question. What is the dumbest injury you've ever had? If you have one.
I was actually here in my office in Independence. I mow my own property, and
Mhm.
there's a water meter can in front of the front entrance by the street. And I push mow my yard because it's very small. And one is on Father's Day. I remember that I was mowing and I hit that water meter can, and the city must have come and done a test on or a measurement of the water previously. They didn't put that lid right on the can,
Mhm.
so my foot hit it, my leg went down into that water meter can, like 3 feet, and just tore the skin
Oh.
off
Oh,
from my
Oh my goodness.
ankle up to my knee. Fortunately, I did not break anything. It's very common if you're a utility
yeah.
worker, that's a very
Yeah.
common thing. You break a
Uh-huh.
leg, break a
Oh my
femur or
goodness.
something,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it was right there in front of my office, which is right on US 75. So, on the busiest stretch of road in this
Oh no.
county, on a Sunday afternoon when everyone's doing their Sunday and Father's Day drive, and I'm sitting there trying to get out of this can
Oh, no.
with my one leg up here, one leg down there, screaming, bleeding.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
that was the dumbest thing 'cause I should have not even stepped on that lid. I mean, and I don't I haven't done since then.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
a public service announcement there for
yeah,
everybody.
Yeah,
stay off the water
exactly.
meter lids. That's probably the dumbest thing I've done. That's all my fault, and it hurt, and I have scars because of that. It was bad. So I've never broken a bone. I've never done anything like that, or fallen
Yep.
off a tree, or but I've
Mhm.
fallen into a water meter hole, and that's painful enough.
A word of caution to everybody, look out. Anthony, what about you?
I knocked myself out trying to show off. There was an old tire swing at one of my friends' houses, and I ran and I jumped up and caught the rope, and I swung out, and the rope broke, and I
Oh,
landed
Oh my
flat on the back of
gosh.
my head, and I was out. So I had a headache for a few days, and
Concussed yourself, man.
uh-huh.
That's
Yeah, it
rough.
was real proud moment.
I have only dumb injuries, like, I have too many to choose from. Um, A fairly recent, well, not a recent one, but a few years ago, I was pregnant with my youngest, and I had this flock of chickens, and, every time I'd come out with, their food, they would run to me. Anyway, and I was not very graceful, I was really big pregnant. So I tripped over a chicken and fell down, and I was fine, except it freaked me out. I had to talk to Clint, and I was like, "You need to text our doctor and make sure that I'm okay." And he was they both thought it was really funny. I did not. But now it's funny. I was fine.
That's
So,
funny. That's funny.
all right, our last question. If you could be best friends with any animated character, who would you choose?
I probably would identify with Elmer Fudd the most because I kind of look like him and don't have
Gosh.
much luck killing the rabbit. Um, in my day, the animated characters were like Bugs Bunny and the
Yeah,
Roadrunner and the Coyote. I always loved the Wile E. Coyote because he tried so hard to get that Roadrunner
poor
He
guy, you feel
really
or
sorry
did.
for
just
him.
never could get it. He'd blow himself up with those Acme bombs and whatever, constantly and fall off a cliff. And I've been that way, so I just can't get that darn Roadrunner.
Oh, that's great. Anthony, what about you?
No, you got me. Well, you gave me 2 yesterday because we were trying to figure out who's each other's would be. I think I've gotta go with the rooster from Robin Hood,
Oh, yeah.
the narrator, Roger
Uh-huh.
Miller from the Robin Hood cartoon.
Yeah, Alan
Uh,
Adale.
yes, that's it.
He's great. That's funny because mine is also from, the animated Robin Hood. I'm choosing Lady Cluck,
Yep,
Maid Marian's pal. I mean, she'll sit and knit with you, she'll play badminton, and she will also fight a rhino for you, so
yep.
she'd be
She'll
a good
go to
friend.
war. She
Yep,
will go to war.
she will.
That'd be a good friend to have.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thanks for entertaining my nonsense, guys. On to the more serious portion of the our conversation. So, Andy, if you could just tell us about your background and how you got into journalism.
I was born into it, literally. My parents bought the newspaper from my grandparents,
Okay.
who had had it since 1943.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it's 1970, and my parents were living in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. My dad was working at Phillips Petroleum Company, and mom was at home with my brother and also driving to Caney sometimes to help my grandparents because they were getting my grandpa was having some heart issues and my grandma had
Mhm.
diabetes. So she was back in her old stomping grounds with her helping. And then my parents just bought the newspaper in 1970. And 1971, they celebrated and gave birth to me. And so I literally was brought into the business
Oh,
um,
wow.
at birth. But this goes back. I'm the fifth generation, and my family's doing this. So it goes clear back to the 1888 was when I found out when
Wow.
my great great grandfather was doing this stuff.
Wow.
So it's old. It's genetically in me, and it's
Yeah.
ink in the blood. And once you're in it, you can't get out of it.
Mhm.
It's the only thing I know how to do. It truly
Yep,
is. I couldn't do much of anything else. So it's a lot of it is instinct that's just been ingrained in me
Yeah.
genetically. Some college training, not much, but some.
Hmm.
Um, but just being in the business every day of my life. That's
Hmm.
basically the story.
yep.
And I enjoy every day I do it. I some days better than others, but
Hmm.
I do not hate my job. Um, It's every week is we're a weekly newspaper. Every week is a blank canvas. I have no
Hmm.
idea what's going to be in the paper next week. None. Right now, I
Mhm.
can't even tell you.
Yeah,
And somehow it comes together, and it's kind of magical. I think it's divine help as well.
Yep.
Um, but that's how it all comes together, and I enjoy doing what I do.
and I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, but initially the newspaper was, the Caney Chronicle,
Mhm.
and then what year did it become the Montgomery County Chronicle?
So I'll go one step before that one. In 1994, my wife and I came back home.
Mhm.
We were fresh out of college. I'd been out of college for less than a year, and my wife had been out for 2 years. We were living in Paola, Kansas at that time. Um, uh, a newspaper in Cherryville came open for sale, and we're down for a funeral, and my
Mhm.
dad jokingly said, "Hey, do you want to go buy that paper in Cherryville, Kansas?" I said, "Let's go take a look at it." I was dumb. I
Uh-huh.
didn't know. And so like we looked at it. The parents bought it. So at age 22, I was thrust into the role as editor of a small paper in
Oh,
Cherryville,
wow.
Kansas,
Uh-huh.
which is not the town you want to go cut your teeth in the business. That's for sure. It's a little tough.
The Chargers.
The Chargers
Yeah.
and the Fighting Cherries before that. Um,
Wow.
I
so
didn't know
it's
that either.
I didn't
yeah, Fighting
either.
Cherries,
That's
Yeah,
great.
and I
Chargers sounds
still
a
hold
little
it with great
tougher.
pride there. Great experience, great friends. We were married there, so I have connections to that community.
Mhm,
But it is what it's a small town. But just like a lot of small towns, just has a lot of struggles.
mhm.
And I really was thrust into that environment,
Yep,
ties into it quickly.
Mhm.
yep.
Probably 22-year-olds shouldn't do that. They should probably take a few years to train to get there. But it got me. My skin thickened pretty quickly,
Yeah,
and then I knew immediately when I came to Cherryville. At that point, I told my parents, "Folks, we got to combine our papers at some point.
mhm. Yeah,
We
yep,
know the industry's changing, and at some point, we're going to have to combine." When we combined
Mhm.
3 years later to become the Montgomery County Chronicle,
there we
Mhm.
go.
took our Katy Chronicle, Cherryville Chronicle, made them into one, and then we kind of expanded out to cover all the communities to be a
Mhm.
county-wide newspaper.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we now have 3 papers altogether in our company.
Okay,
It keeps
very
us
cool.
all hopping, and, so it's a struggle, though. It's a struggle,
Yeah,
and I know, the changes that are coming. I hate to think of it, but I know they're coming,
mhm,
Mhm.
and, we'll have to figure it out as they come, but we've adapted, we made changes before most of these
Mhm.
papers are making changes, and I'm glad we did. We had to cut some costs, and that's what you gotta do in running a
yep.
small business, so that's, that story.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that there is a lot of things to, maybe be concerned about in terms of what technology is gonna do, but
Mm.
I don't think that there's ever not gonna be a market for authenticity,
Mhm.
I hope
and,
that's the case.
um, I just can't see how. I mean, it may take a while to correct back to that, but people are gonna be thirsting for that very soon, if not already.
Yep.
I notice AI generated stories. I can spot
Mhm,
them off immediately. Just
Mhm.
when I hear them spoken,
mhm,
I can say that's an AI story because it sounds too weird.
yep,
Mhm.
People's voices, people's writings are just like their voices. They're very
Right.
distinct. When someone writes something, they have a distinct fingerprint to their
yep,
writing style. I do. My dad does. Everybody does. And
Mhm.
that's authentic. That's an authentic thing that AI hopefully can't duplicate.
right,
Mhm.
If they can get that far into it, then we're in real trouble.
yeah,
But, right now, it's all computer gadgetry, and at some point, people get tired after 2 or 3 years, and they go to something else.
mhm,
And
Mhm.
so the whole AI thing, I know it'll be here for a long time. I've never really fully utilized it
Mhm.
to the
yeah.
full extent that I've been told I can. Um, I'm not impressed with what I've seen so far. I still like the
I think
authentic
it's yeah,
stuff.
Mhm.
I
And
think it's gonna be something that we have seen the best that it has to offer.
yes, I think
Because
you're
from
right.
here, I think it's not like, we're kinda like, "Oh, look at this new toy that we don't know how to use.
Exactly.
Let's make
Exactly.
a stupid pet picture." Guilty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You
is
have
that
done that.
But
Um, I think people are thirsting for human connection and
yes,
humanity and
absolutely.
sincerity, and, you do that really well, your family has done that well. I didn't realize the history of your
Well,
family going back that many
yeah.
generations, that's
Let let
amazing.
let me give you how the approach that we use is
Mhm,
unique, I think. So my great-grandfather was a man named Frank George. He would be my mother's grandpa.
Mhm,
He lived in Altamont for Kansas for most of his adult life, and he had the newspaper there,
mhm.
the Altamont Journal. And he every day, I'm sorry, every week, because it was a weekly, he had a front page column called the Journal Honor Roll. And everybody that came in that door of the Altamont Journal every day, he would scribble something down and write about them in the newspaper.
wow.
Good
Wow.
stuff. It'd be like,
Yeah.
so and so came in to renew their subscription. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Jones has the best lilac bushes anywhere in Lebec County, or Farmer Jones
Mhm.
came in with his
Yep.
tomatoes and cucumbers, and they're delicious. I mean, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
did that for 40 years, 40 years every week without hesitation.
that's
That's
so
several
cool.
generations. This
Yeah.
guy only had a sixth grade education,
Mm.
but
Mhm.
his approach was genius. He knew
Yeah.
to get people to read his newspaper, he had to write about him.
Yeah.
So that passed on to his kids, including my grandfather, Skeet
Mhm.
George. He had the paper in Katy for years and
Yeah.
years. And he wrote a column every week called The Happy Corner. And the Happy Corner came from his office in the Chronicle office, was in the corner. And it was always happy there. There was never gloom in my grandfather's voice
Yeah.
or in his writings. It was always very happy. And he typically would write his editorials and columns on Sunday mornings before church,
Nice.
which is a tip of the hat to him, because that
Mhm.
got his mind right.
Yeah.
Because he would go to the Caney Christian Church, that's where he worshiped. And I think his approach would be, I don't want to get hot and bothered and cranky and cussy today about what's going on.
Mhm.
And I've got to go to church here in a minute.
Mhm.
And his stories conveyed that. It was not saying everything was positive, but he just
Yeah.
didn't let the world get under his collar.
Yeah.
And as a simple deal, my mother, the most read thing in our newspaper is her weekly column called Life's Little Lifesavers.
Yes.
It
I love
takes,
those. I
okay, there
love
you
those.
are. It takes about 30 seconds to read it.
Uh-huh.
And it's just simple little pathos
Yeah.
of life. It's things that are
Mhm.
life giving, life saving things to think about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Things like the taste of fresh apple pie,
Mhm.
uh, drinking snow cones in the summertime, listening
Mhm.
to uh, cicadas in the evening,
Yep.
the smell of fresh laundry,
Yeah.
Mhm.
All those
Chasing
things
little
like
lightning
things.
that.
bugs.
Yeah, those little things, they bring joy,
They
and
do
they're
bring
do.
joy.
important.
So
Yeah.
that's how that approach continues. So now in my generation, I'm not as rosy and life saving as my mother. That's great. She can do that. I'm just a little
Yeah.
different critter. But I try to find the feature stories, and I call it "Here's the Story." Um, Unusual things and that challenge people in their existence and daily life, and the good things that they do. And so I think I've written well over in the past 30 years, probably close to 800 different feature stories of across Montgomery County.
Mhm.
Um, eh, People ranging from local Eagle Scout, when he got his Eagle Scout, what was that
Yeah.
project like? What was the, how'd you do it? Da, 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 to, oh, there was one several years ago, a gentleman in Coffeyville who's totally blind, but plays the piano at church. Think
Wow.
about
Wow.
that. Think about that.
Mhm.
My.
Wow.
How do you play a piano? How can you not see? And he plays it flawlessly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Wow.
a
That's
story.
amazing.
That's a
Mhm.
That's a
story.
great
So those
story.
are the type of stories that I yearn for. On
Yeah.
CBS Sunday Morning, which is a great show, I like to watch it. There's a gentleman named Steve Hartman, a
Mhm.
national reporter, who does on the road series is what he calls it. He goes across
Mhm.
the country on the road. His predecessors have been in Charles Kuralt, who would find these unusual stories in the hinterlands. But his are always about people doing good things, and it's a very popular series, to the
Mhm.
Mhm.
point that he's now taken that on to a teaching curriculum about good things in life.
Yeah.
How do you have compassion? How do you
Mhm.
have peace? How do you
Mhm.
show gratitude? How do you
Mhm.
show love
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
your neighbors? And then there's those type of things that he tells in a great way. So the news isn't all gloom and doom.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, the environment is such that my news industry tends to play to the divisiveness of the world, and they split people apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not my approach. I don't like
Yeah.
splitting people up into camps. I just can't do that.
Yeah.
I try to
Mhm.
bring them.
It's a
Hmm,
powerful thing to keep people in that position where they,
Mhm.
feel like they're having to make that choice to be enemies with people that are probably
right.
almost just like them. And I've been
Right.
guilty of it too, and
Absolutely.
I'm I'm trying to learn better every day. I
Yeah.
couldn't keep myself off of Facebook over the weekend, and then I'm having to
Well,
delete a post. I'm like, "What am I doing? I'm not
I
I'm
read that. I saw that.
so,
It's
oh,
okay. It's
man.
okay. It's okay, Anthony, to I think it is righteous to be angry at injustice.
Yes.
Mhm,
That's something Jesus wants us to be. If you
mhm,
see sickness, if you see homelessness, be angry about it and try to fix it and
mhm,
express it. Sadly, Facebook's not the place to go do that today.
No, it's not.
It's not made to be church.
yeah,
The analytics, the algorithms that all go with it magnetize and amplify the anger toward
mhm,
Yeah.
people who are also angry.
yeah,
So it is what it is. And it's
Well,
probably
what I
not
learned and what I told Caitlin was, anybody that I would engage in a not even an argument, but a discussion with, I need to do that in person or over the phone
absolutely.
and not through
yeah,
written
Yeah,
text because you can't get tone, you can't get body language, and, you know,
absolutely.
we can become victims unnecessarily
right,
to not looking at something in the black and white text,
mhm,
and actually maybe sleeping on it and going, "Let me think on that."
Absolutely. I had a very good friend of mine and overnight who gave an analysis on the State of the Union address last night. His name's Mark Hamrick he grew up in Coffeeville, but he's a nationally
mhm,
recognized broadcaster. You see him all the time on a lot of the cable channels giving business stories. And he gave a very great analysis on the State of the Union address. And I wrote back,
mhm,
said, "It's great analysis, Mark." And we're both very friendly. We know
Mhm.
we know how
mhm,
to keep it in the lane without
Yeah,
becoming stupid.
right,
And I said, I just feel like probably people weren't up at 9 o'clock last night watching the president drone on for another hour about stuff that's not relevant to their lives.
right,
And
correct.
it's school night. It's a work night. People have 200 channels now at their fingertips. They could go to something else real fast. We're a changed world. And when I was a kid, I hated when the president spoke because it interrupted our TV viewing.
Yes, that's true.
We only had 3 channels
I
back
was
then.
trying to watch a game.
Yeah, no,
right.
yeah. We have to watch PBS now. Oh, jeez. So yeah, and
That's great.
that's the type of approach we should have. Like find the friends that you can probably disagree with and stay with them.
Yeah,
My love for them exceeds Facebook. I want to keep
right.
my compass pointing north and upward
Mhm,
and still keep feeding people and taking their information at the blood drives and saying hi to them and encouraging them. That's where I find my glory
yeah.
and my simplicity.
Yeah, we've talked at length about what can we actually control, and you're absolutely right. The people around us and trying to use, a little bit of service for others. That's something we can do.
Yes,
Can't do a lot about what's going on in Washington and how
exactly.
everyone's
And
behaving. Things are important, but yeah, keeping that perspective of what we can do for others near us is
mhm,
definitely
mhm,
the way to
mhm,
go.
right. And also not to be judgmental. Pope, what's the Pope's name? The new Pope that he's got a few months ago.
Leo, Pope Leo.
Leo, yes, thank you. Said something last week that I thought was just glorious. He said, strive to do something today to keep you from speaking poorly of others. That should be
Hmm.
your number one mission today. Don't speak poorly of other people.
Mhm.
That's a simple message.
It
Yeah.
is.
Simple message. And he's totally right. Quit drawing yourself into the quagmire and the muck of the world. And it's noisy, it's vulgar, it's crappy, it's dirty, it's not healthy. And instead try to find something that makes it better, makes it joyous, makes it glorious,
Right.
Like
makes
a
you
good
feel
story.
like a good story, exactly. A picture of Cowboy Horton makes me laugh.
Hey, yes.
Which
Shout out to Cowboy's Instagram
Oh,
page.
man. I
why
think
and by the way,
he has a bigger audience than we do.
that poor dog is about the most awkward looking thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Looks like he's been in a fight or like in
yeah,
a car wreck.
He fights for his life every day, I think.
I could
he's
tell.
resilient. He
He's
is
got one
resilient.
eye and his tongue's hanging out and looks like he's
He's
kind of a little bit dazed.
he's a bringer of joy. That's what we
Yep.
call him.
There you are.
So,
Oh, that's funny.
A
Andy
funny name, Cowboy Horton. I just think that's
yes.
hilarious.
Yeah, he never did accept me still.
You're not my daddy. That's what he
Golly.
says to Anthony.
Yeah,
All right.
he hates me. Not really, but maybe. Oh,
One thing I enjoy about some of the community groups on Facebook and social media that Andy, you and I are both part of, a lot of times you share old photographs that you found, in the archives and the history behind them. And I personally, I love that stuff. I love
Mhm.
seeing those old
Yeah.
pictures. But why is sharing that and preserving that history so important to you?
It's people will have a memory, and it's usually reflected through a picture, more than likely, and that picture triggers more memories.
Yeah.
And the pictures that I take, as a small town journalist are things that are probably good things to take pictures at.
Hmm.
Pep rallies, Easter egg hunts, uh, Christmas parades, football games, cheerleaders. I mean, how can
mhm,
you say those would be bad stuff? That's all good things to think about.
Yeah.
And you
mhm,
see people in them that you recognize, and you want to talk about how they've changed. And it's
Yeah.
just good
mhm.
stuff. Plus, it's just good historical preservation, which I'm
Yeah.
all for. And I grew up in a family that had lots of pictures.
Hmm.
We never documented a single one. They were just thrown in a shoebox, and we did a terrible job. And who is it? Who's in the
We
picture? When was it? What was that thing of? Who's in it? So
Right.
you'll guess at it someday later. So,
Yeah.
so
we took
there's a purpose
a
behind
trip
it.
down memory lane earlier today.
Yes.
Kate had found some clippings of some old pictures of some of our family and our dad and our mom both. And yeah, they did.
It was
The memories come rushing back
So
when you
Yeah.
let me tell you real quick about another project I'm working on. But
Okay.
both of you remember a teacher at our grade school that we attended named Joe Warnock.
Yes.
And he photographed everything for 35 plus years.
Yes, he
Black
did,
a
yeah.
black and white film. Yeah, if you remember, it was in the newspaper every week, looking at Lincoln, and
mhm,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
always
yeah.
pictures of things going on at this Lincoln school.
Yeah.
And he kept every negative. You take a picture of the old film, it came on in negative. He kept
Yeah.
every one of them, and his
Oh my
wife
goodness.
Peggy has given them all to me. We're
Oh, that's
talking
amazing.
pictures from 1979 or 77 to about 2003 or 4 when he retired.
Yeah,
wow.
Tens of thousands of pictures. Now they're all in negatives. I got to figure out a way to digitize those suckers
right.
Uh-huh.
because there's great things in those pictures. You guys would be in them.
That's really
Every
cool.
Mhm.
field day, every
Yes.
uh, special lyceum they had, all the kids on the
Uh-huh.
playgrounds, the teachers
Rocket
that
Day. Oh
Rocket Day.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Christmas concerts. You name it. Kansas Day. I mean, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
That's
That's
And
that would be really cool.
that
so I'm
is a
working
treasure
now
trove.
on getting
Yeah.
that figured out how to get those made available. It would be
That's
Wow.
cool
amazing.
because
Yeah.
like some of the pictures were taken before, in our hometown
Mhm.
before the fire and after the fire when our grade school caught
That's
fire in
exactly what I was
1980.
thinking.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
there's pictures of the gymnasium before the fire, before it burned down,
Mhm.
which a
And
lot of
that
people had.
fire was a case of arson, was it
Oh, yes, it
not?
was
It
Okay,
absolutely.
was,
I
yeah.
thought so. Yep.
And he took pictures of that
I was
fire.
gonna say he took pictures that day, yeah.
And the guy who started the fire is in all those pictures. He wanted to see it burn down, so he's actually in the pictures,
Wow.
That is
walking
wild.
around. Yeah, it was an arson
Swift
fire.
swift justice on that case.
Well, it really wasn't. When he was arrested, he admitted at that very day that he burnt down the Memorial Hall in Coffeyville, which happened about 3 months before that because he was the janitor there. But he wasn't arrested yet. They didn't read his rights to it, his Miranda rights. So that
Oh.
admission could not be used in court.
No.
Oh
He
my
he was
goodness.
already convicted of the Memorial Hall fire. They threw out that conviction, had it restarted all over again, and the county attorney says we can't use that confession. We had nothing. We have no evidence. So he never spent a day in prison for the Caney fire.
I
It made him mad because he knew he'd be released and probably would be hurt by somebody from this area. So he burnt down the prison chapel in Lansing, Kansas, set fire to it, and that got him 10 more years in prison.
So he
golly,
committed arson 3 times?
at least.
And
That
he
is
committed
that
arson
is
before he came to Kansas. He was convicted of arson in 3 different fires in Texas in the
goodness.
1970s. We just didn't have a way of vetting it back then and figuring
Uh-huh.
this out.
Yeah.
But
That is
The dark ages.
wild.
That
Oh my
is
goodness.
crazy. Whew.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow. All right, Andy, in your line of work, you're out in the community every day. I'm sure that has caused you to meet a lot of um, local heroes, everyday people. Are there any of those stories that you'd like to share?
Boy, lots of them.
Mhm. I mean, can you narrow it down? There's
And I
probably a
could,
lot.
because there's a lot of heroes, and they're heroes for unique, different ways. Uh, and it goes back to those pictures that you were talking about. That when I look back at those pictures of people I photographed, there's something amazing about them. Let me give you one example. And you know who I'm going to talk about. And I want you to chime in with what you remember. We had a man in our hometown who owned a gas station. His name was Bob Montgomery. And he worked there for decades. He owned it and had it. What was the first thing you know about Bob Montgomery? Go ahead and say it.
He only had one limb, one upper
He had
Yeah,
arm
one
one
arm.
limb.
He
arm.
had one arm.
Yep.
Mhm,
This
yep.
guy changed tires uh,
Mhm.
with the deftness and speed of a Indy 500 pit crew
Yep.
with one arm.
Yes, yep.
Mhm. That's a hero to me.
Our dad worked for him
I was
in
gonna
high
say
school.
dad works there, yep.
Yep.
Yes. And I think how bad, I mean, my God, that poor man, how many tires he fixed with that nubby arm and
Yep.
one good
Mhm,
one. And how do you do that? How do you fit? But he
Yep.
did. He adapted and did it very. That's a hero to me.
right.
He was.
People who
His
didn't
wife was awesome
uh,
too.
bubble gum. You always get bubble gum
Yes.
and a can of pop
Marilyn.
at the gas
Yes,
station. And it's a
absolutely.
good gossip too, that's for sure. Uh, people who
Oh,
just
and you
do
got a discount for paying with cash
cash, yes, you
there
do, you got a
too.
10-cent discount off
Yep.
off of you. People who just do good things are
Yeah,
heroic to me.
mhm,
People who work at the food pantries,
mhm.
do a Herculean task to feed the masses, they're
Yes, they do.
heroes. People, not just the firefighters and the military guys and the cops who are all very heroic and do great things, their spouses who are just as heroic because they know that their loved ones are going out every day and may not come back. And we're seeing,
Mhm,
sadly, more situations like that of late with
Mhm.
officers who are gunned down in the line of duty or firefighters who tragically lose their lives. And wow, that's just
mhm.
tough, but they're very heroic in how they do it. Preachers
Yes.
are heroic, and especially ones that are out in the community truly doing the work of the Lord. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
talking getting on your knees and washing feet type ministers.
Yes.
Very heroic. Teachers who go beyond their work in the classroom to try to make some kid's life better
Mhm.
through a pair of shoes or a shirt or a jacket.
Yeah.
Or being nice to him at the library.
Being
Mhm.
nice to
Yep.
them, absolutely, just being nice, just
Mhm.
being there,
Yeah,
just being there isn't heroic anymore. That's those are my type of heroes.
Yep.
for
So
sure.
I agree. Bob, I remember dad telling a story about Bob because he drove, I want to say it was an old Ford pickup, but it was a standard transmission, 3-speed on the column. So imagine this guy that has one arm
It was his
driving a
left
vehicle.
one. His left one was gone. This was the right one that he
Uh-huh.
had,
Okay.
so he could
He
do
could
that.
he could
It could
drive
shift.
a truck and shift a 3-speed on the column like it was nobody's business. Probably,
Mhm,
thank goodness we didn't have cell phones then, but
mhm.
but yeah, he was a fantastic man.
And open every
Fantastic.
day. He was open for business every day, including
Mhm.
Sundays.
Yep.
And that's what's amazing to me is the gas station is a thing of the past anymore. You go to
Mhm.
gas up, you get your car fixed.
Mhm.
You go to a convenience store now. You go to a Quick
Yep.
Trip or whatever.
Yeah.
But boy, he did that for, and he made money. He made it profitable enough to send a son to college. Uh,
Mhm.
he and his wife gave to the community,
Yep.
just selling cheap gas and cheap tire fixes.
Yep.
A simple life. You talk about the a man of simplicity.
Yeah.
I think he probably
I
had the
don't
same.
remember ever buying gas when our dad ever buying gas from anywhere but there,
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
and as long as it was open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, that's my guy."
that's
Yep.
it. That's
Yep.
absolutely right. Absolutely. And how many tires that man fixed on a weekend when you riding your lawn tractor and you get a flat tire?
Mhm.
You can go down to
Uh-huh.
Bob's and you know he's going to fix it right there for five
Yep.
dollars
Uh-huh.
and
Yep.
get it done in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what. life's about to me.
It
Yep.
is. So you've
Great.
listened, but here on the show, we do like to tell people what they mean to us. So is there anybody or anything you'd like to share about a person or people in your life that really have just made an impact on you? Maybe that
Mm.
somebody doesn't know.
Oh boy, there's just lots of people. It's hard to pick out one or two. There's just so many, and their impacts are different. Your
Mhm,
mother had an impact on me just by her smile. Your grandpa Richie had an impact on me because of his hard work ethic.
mhm,
Uh, your uncles that I knew had impacts on me because they're good people.
mhm.
Too numerous to mention, really. There's not like this one person that has just
Yeah.
truly changed my life I can hang my head on his story. There's
Mhm,
lots of great people. Uh,
Mhm.
Parents are the best. Uh, Obviously, among those several aunts and uncles that I had that are now they're all gone. In fact, um, who I miss dearly, and didn't know that at the time, but I
mhm,
miss talking to them. I miss being with them. I miss my uncle Kenneth George, who gave me a lot of business advice and how to run a
mhm.
Mhm.
business. And um, at
Who
the
had
time,
the
I
printing company
yeah,
for
the
the
printing company,
newspapers.
absolutely. And
Mm.
yeah, just people like that were very influential in my upbringing.
Well, what you said was
Absolutely.
something that I think has really been on my mind a lot lately. Um, especially when you experience loss of those people. And
Hmm.
I was reminded of how, our story, each one of us has a story that is connected to thousands and thousands of people.
Mhm.
And when you start seeing those connections light up between and you see that community grow, it's really encouraging.
It
And
is.
I know not everybody has that experience, but what you were saying there in terms of just all of the connections to just good people that are trying to do
Mhm,
good things for each other.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of peace that you can get from that when you put your mind in that
mhm,
place.
mhm.
And it's just a reminder to me to just do more of that.
It is,
Mhm.
and I guess I can answer it this way, Caitlin. Not one person was influential. One preacher who gave a sermon that was kind of my on the road to Damascus moment. A preacher here in Independence named David Henneke. We were attending the First Baptist Church. I remember the series. It was a series on the Book of Jonah, which
Mhm.
you would not think of that as being a series and a emotionally riveting story, but oh my
Mhm.
gosh, if you do it right, it can be. In the
Mhm.
story of Jonah, he was told to go to Nineveh by God. God said, "Go to Nineveh." And Jonah got
Mhm.
scared, says, "No, I'm going to go the other direction to Tarshish," which is the other side, which I think is, they've determined is probably modern day Spain. Um,
Okay.
Mhm,
and the story of him being swallowed by the whale for 3 days. I mean, you all know what happens then. And the question that the preacher asks is, "What is your Nineveh?
Mhm.
What is the Nineveh in your life that keeps you scared from doing the
mhm,
right thing? What is it? And what are you doing to get rid of it?" And that question
Mhm.
has always just resonated in my head. What is my Nineveh today? What is the
Mhm.
thing that's keeping me from doing good? And
yep.
Mhm.
that sermon has just affected me in so many different ways. I just keep it. What is my Nineveh? In fact, I should
Mhm.
put it on a T-shirt. That'd be a cool T-shirt saying.
Yeah.
That is, that's a fantastic thought. I'm gonna have to think on that because I couldn't tell you. If somebody asked me that right now, I couldn't tell you, but I bet if I
Hmm.
examined myself, I'll
Hmm.
figure it out by morning.
So and in that moment in time, my Nineveh was cowardice, was time allotment,
Mhm.
fear, those things that kept me from doing that. That's what brought me all to this catharsis of just trying to do service, doing good things that
Mhm.
affect other people. And, um,
Right.
that's all part and parcel to all that story. That, that,
Yeah.
that David Henneke, I would say, God bless him. Uh,
Mhm.
Hmm.
that sermon really changed my approach and my attitude.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
really
Hmm.
interesting. I have, so my childhood bedroom is now like the playroom for the grandkids, when we go to our stepmom's house, but I still have a bulletin board from high school that's up, and I mean, high school Kate was very, very devout Christian, and I had, like news, like little magazine clippings of all these things. And there is a little clipping from a Christian magazine that I subscribe to that says, "What's my Nineveh?" on that
Really?
Really?
board. Yes, it does.
There you are.
And I haven't thought about that in years. That's a good thing probably to question ourselves about.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
kind of leads into our the last question I have for you. Like, how has your faith guided you and how you interact with the people in our community, with all its challenges?
Well, it takes faith to interact with people because the world has turned south, just even locally. I mean, the rancor is there. You just try to tiptoe around it, but it's prevalent, and people are quick to make a judgment and react any more than
Mhm,
they used to. That's all because going back to the whole social media culture. Um, so it takes faith to be in that crowd with people and knowing
mhm,
that there's going to be some loudmouth that's going to just possibly ruin it. You got to be above them. You got to be a light that shows that the way you're living is better than being, you know, ugly and vulgar and dirty and
mhm,
divisive. Can't remember which one of it was one of the letters from Paul or Peter, but he said that we should constantly be praying for others and take into consideration their shortcomings.
mhm.
And give people grace. I mean,
Right.
give them some rope because they just don't get it. I mean, just take that on consideration. And
Yeah.
probably within about 30 seconds, the conversation is going to change anyway. And you're going to talk about basketball or the weather or,
Yeah.
the Kansas City Chiefs or something like that. Anyway, we
Mhm.
have attention spans of gnats anymore. So it's pretty quick to change the topic to something that's we can agree on. But yes, it is a challenge. The building of your faith is a challenge in today's world, and you just have got to immerse yourself into belief, trust in God.
Mhm,
A better day is coming. Keep that in
mhm,
mind. Uh, we can't fix it all today, and
mhm.
what you can do to survive today and make it better tomorrow, that's faith. And
Yep.
I'm also a fervent believer in that scripture that says faith without works is dead. Just to believe it is one thing, but you got to put it into works,
Mhm.
into practice.
Go do it.
You got to sweat
Yep.
Mhm.
and improve yourself. And there's lots of different things that anybody can do. You don't have to take a textbook. Just go do something and
Mhm.
show
Yeah.
show your faith to the world, and that the graciousness of Jesus will come through the you into others, and that some of that ugly may rub away and become good.
Mhm. For sure.
That's right.
I agree. It kinda goes back to what you said earlier was it really is simplicity. I mean,
Mhm. It
we can
is.
choose to live that way or not, and I think we know what's probably better if if we do that more often than not.
Absolutely. I think if you just, my mother always said, just take a breath, look out the window, and find something good out there. And there will be something
Mhm.
good, and focus on that. That's simple.
Yeah,
And your
Yep.
mind
yeah.
will go there, and all of a sudden, you're out in the yard playing with your kids, and that's heaven to me. That's
Yep.
glory. And
And
Yep.
if you have a conflict with somebody, sleep on it before you act.
Right.
I'm talking to myself right now. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Simple, not easy, but simple. Um, yeah, try to see the humanity in people and give them grace as we all want grace given to us also.
mhm.
absolutely.
Well, Andy, do you wanna do an accidentally spiritual with us?
Yes, I do. And I thought
All
about this
right.
the other day. So I don't know how this applies to the accidentally spiritual, but I think I know
There's no rules.
what this was. So
Accidentally spiritual has no rules.
so I watched a great movie this past weekend on it's Song Sung Blue, which was Hugh Jackman
Mm,
and Kate
Hudson.
Hudson. Thank you.
I
Hudson.
wanna see that. I haven't seen it yet, but
It's
it
great.
looks really
It's
good.
good. It's everyone says it's the Neil Diamond movie. That's not true. It's about a Neil guy who impersonates Neil Diamond, but a
Mhm.
lot of Neil Diamond songs are in it, and I love Neil
Uh-huh.
Diamond music. Anyway, but the heart of it is this guy played by Hugh Jackman, who's this washed up, liquored up old rock and roller who can't find a job. I think he's doing the county fair circuit. And it
Mhm.
starts off at an AA meeting. And if you know anything about AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, they have their serenity prayer, which is
Mhm.
God, it's a very famous prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. How applicable to our lives today, to everybody,
Mhm.
not just
Mhm.
AA members.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
got to be able to discern the things that we can fix and not fix, know the difference.
Right.
Don't worry about what we can't fix. There's another part that they say this prayer in this movie, and I never really paid attention to it, and it plays a role throughout the movie and in the storyline. And by the way, if you want to watch it, get the Kleenex. Is it? Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no spoiler
Yeah.
there. It is a
I
tearjerker.
I cry easily,
I
so
haven't cried that
Yeah.
much since
I need a box.
I've cried that much since I saw Toy Story 3. Now that one was a tearjerker.
No joke.
When they
Yep.
packed away
Yeah.
Yep.
those toys and
Mhm.
put them in the garage sale, I'm like,
Yeah, that was painful.
that was trauma.
That's rough. Yeah.
So
It's
anyway,
child abuse.
it really was. So that was accidentally spiritual, and I don't think
Mhm.
the Hugh Jackman and the producers probably thought of it to be that way, but it was.
Yeah.
I think it's
Mhm.
it made me stop and think about that prayer, those words said by an alcoholic, of course, but
Mhm.
anybody can say that and it can be applied to their lives today.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I believe that
John
too. I think
Ortberg has he has a I think he has a new book out. I wanna say it's called Steps or something about steps, but it's basically how the church should function more like an AA meeting than, than its
Probably
current
should.
state,
Mhm.
and, I haven't read the book, but I listened to an interview and it was good. Good
Huh,
thoughts.
perfect. All right, Kate, do you wanna go or you want me to go?
I'll go, you can and then you
Okay.
can finish us
Okay.
out. Alright,
Perfect.
so my accidentally spiritual this week, earlier in the week, I was feeling a little bit down in my spirit, and um not I mean, the horrors persist every day, but it wasn't even that. It was just parenting is hard and you're trying your best and sometimes you don't see the fruit of it for years. Anyway, I was a little bit down. Um but I had some time with a friend yesterday, had a good visit, and then we had a family dinner around the table, and we started talking about the unhinged icebreakers. I was trying them out on my family, and everyone was actually getting along, which, boosted my spirit. And then later on that night, Clint was watching reels of Brian Regan, the comedian. I don't know if you're familiar, but he's one of my favorites. He's been around a long time. He's clean and just hilarious. And I got to laughing so hard, I spit my tea out and was choking on it. And, it just reminded me of the importance of, like, intentionally lightening up because there are a lot of things that can get us down, and I can get in my head too much about it when really I need to do what you said, Andy, take a breath, enjoy the simple things, make time to laugh, make time to be silly, and, it helped my outlook, my perspective. Yeah, so that's my accidentally spiritual. And I have to tell you that one of the jokes, he's talking about, first class passengers and how they're treated like royalty, board at your leisure, and, you know, they're sitting down, they're like, "Bring me a goblet of something cool and refreshing." And telling coach passengers, "You scuzz, sit down. You don't belong here." And then he says these bathrooms at the front of the plane, these are for our first class passengers. And then he said, "The coach restrooms are located in Newark Airport, Concourse C." Which is I was dying because I've been to the Newark Airport. I've had to change a diaper on the floor of the bathroom at Newark
Mhm.
Airport, and it was horrifying.
Yuck.
So,
That's awesome.
anyway, it made me laugh. So,
I wish I could have
my
been there for that conversation.
my advice, just try to find what makes you laugh, what brings you some joy, and purposely engage in that at least for a few minutes each day.
Absolutely. So, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do this week, but I totally checked out this year for the Olympics. I'm not proud of it, but I was just really busy, and I had intended to watch the
Hmm.
hockey team, but of course, I think everybody probably knows what happened. US won their first hockey men's gold medal in 46
6 years,
years,
yes. Hmm.
Mhm.
um, which was awesome. It was overtime. It was against Canada, who's obviously a rival.
Hmm.
Um, but and you think about what, these guys are all professional hockey
Hmm.
players too, but they're
Hmm.
also representing their country.
Hmm.
And you think about like the time that a person puts into their craft, if it's a sport, if it's anybody that gets to the elite level of anything, they have committed and sacrificed so much to get there.
Mhm.
So every one of those guys and gals that participate in those things, it's been their life. And in that moment of achievement, um, the Team USA, they had lost a guy that he passed away about a year and a half ago. He was killed in a tragic accident. And he would have likely been a member of this team, and his name was Johnny Gaudreau. They called him Johnny Hockey,
Okay.
and he was a little guy. He was 5'9", 163 pounds,
Mm.
playing elite hockey. So anyway, he loses his life. Him and his brother were hit by a
Mm.
alleged drunk driver. They were riding bicycles the night before their sister's wedding.
My.
So this moment that was going to be joyful for the family, not to mention this, he left behind a wife and 2 kids at that time. His wife at his memorial service speaks about him, and she's pregnant with a third.
Mm.
So fast forward, I mean, you're talking about a tragedy. And so I looked in, I saw a couple stories today, and speaking of needing the Kleenexes, but this guy, the team thought so much of him, they carried his jersey around with them this entire preparation for the Olympics. It was
Wow.
up in the locker room with them. And when they won the gold medal, multiple team members went up into the crowd to get his 2 oldest children
Mm.
Mhm.
to make them a part of that moment.
Wow.
Mm.
And they took his oldest daughter there and his son, who's Johnny Gaudreau Jr.
Mm.
Um, that same day, that they won that gold medal, it was his son's birthday.
Mm.
Mm. Wow. They
That's
didn't
His
know that.
amazing.
youngest his
Mm.
youngest couldn't be there because he's too young to have a passport, I guess.
Oh, wow.
But also, the son of his that was born, while when he passed, had the exact same weight and length measurements as his dad.
Mm.
Wow.
8 pounds, 3 ounces, 20.5 inches, both of them.
Mm.
Amazing.
So you think about that and you're like, there are things much more important in life than achieving a gold medal or whatever the pinnacle is of whatever you do in life.
Mhm.
Because friendship and carving out space for a teammate and his family, paying tribute and honor to them in the biggest moment probably of their athletic
Absolutely. Right.
life.
Right.
Um, to do that, oh, I was a mess
I bet you were.
Mhm.
reading
Yep.
those videos, and I thought, wow, just how cool is that? And I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for sports stories, and
Mhm.
I always have been. But to me, that's not about sports. That's way bigger.
It's humanity.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
So
humanity. And
I
that's the
just
type
thought,
of story
man,
I would have loved to have written.
yes,
Yep.
man, it is incredible. And there were some interviews I saw with his wife, and I'm sure that she has some really, really tough days. But to
Mhm.
see somebody that's gone through what she does, and she still speaks so highly of her husband, and his parents are still very involved. They traveled with her over to the Olympics. You know, a horrible situation, and I just seeing somebody that's able to rally to have the strength
Mhm.
to continue speaking about it. I mean,
Mhm.
I know we've talked about it. We have to keep doing that. When we lose people, and before then, we need to tell them what we love about them and what we
Right.
appreciate about them because we just never know.
Yep.
So that's all I have except to tell you thank you for being patient with us, Andy. Um,
I've enjoyed
we
it.
had some
Enjoyed it.
delays and we went a little long, but I had a great time talking with you,
I
and
had
I
a great
really
time too.
appreciate
I
you.
appreciate the opportunity, and I've been very blessed by this. And I hope this may bless others in some way. And if this
Mhm.
little podcast can reach someone's heart and soul, we've done our job, and that's what it's there for.
Yep.
Just one person. Just one
Absolutely.
person. That's all we have to worry about.
That
Just the one.
that's right.
Yep.
All
Well,
right.
Thank you for
Well,
having me here.
thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and we will catch you soon.
Thank you.
all right. Thank you again. Take care of each other.
Bet.
All right.